Voyez to be born a French baguette, a tragicomique exposé.
Ah, la vie française, romantic, sophisticated, and utterly obsessed with bread. But what if you, dear reader, were not a human enjoying this glamorous existence, but instead a humble baguette? A crispy, golden, flour-dusted victim of French cultural tyranny? Let me tell you, it's no picnic. Or rather, it is a picnic, just one where you're the main course. The eternal armpit prison. The French have an unspoken law: thou shalt always carry a baguette under thine arm. It's practically a national accessory, more essential than a beret or a striped shirt. But imagine being that baguette, jammed into the sweaty crook of a Parisian's elbow, suffocating under a wool coat, your crust slowly softening from body heat. You're not food, you're a fashion statement. And let's talk about bakery visits. The French don't just buy bread, they engage in a sacred morning ritual. The boulangerie is a temple, the baker a priest, and you, the baguette, are the sacrificial offering. The moment you're pulled fresh from the oven, you know your fate, to be fondled by half the neighborhood before being devoured by noon.
The torture of bonjour.
In France, failing to say bonjour upon entering any establishment is a crime punishable by death, or at least a withering glare. But as a baguette, you are physically incapable of speaking. Every time a customer grabs you without so much as a polite greeting, you die a little inside. The disrespect. And don't even get me started on the small talk. The French would rather be late to their own funeral than rush a conversation. You'll watch in agony as your purchaser lingers at the counter, debating the weather with a baker while your once crispy exterior turns limp with despair.
La bise, the kiss of doom.
The French greet each other with la bise, cheek kisses that range from 2 to 4, depending on which region's customs decide to ruin your day. But as a baguette, you are constantly at risk of being crushed between enthusiastic cheek pecks. One wrong move and snap. You're a broken carb-based casualty of French affection. The breakfast betrayal. The myth that the French only eat croissants and coffee for breakfast is mostly true. But guess what? When they do eat baguettes in the morning, it's after they've already devoured a buttery croissant. You're the backup bread, the second choice, the "oh, I guess I'll have a little baguette too" consolation prize. And let's talk about the café au lait dunking. Few things are more humiliating than being dipped into milky coffee like some kind of edible sponge. You were born to be slathered in beurre sale, not reduced to a soggy mess before 9 a.m. The cheese and wine conspiracy. The French worship cheese like it's a divine entity, which, to be fair, it is. But for a baguette, this means you're constantly being smothered in camembert, brie, or roquefort, all while being judged for not being quite crusty enough to hold it all together. And wine?
Oh, mon Dieu.
The French drink it like water, but do they ever pause to consider how you feel about being used as a wine-sopping tool? No. You're just a vehicle for alcohol absorption, a carb-laden Uber for fermented grapes.
The fashion paradox.
Paris is the fashion capital of the world, but as a baguette, you are always underdressed. You're either stuffed naked into a tote bag or wrapped in a flimsy paper sheath that does nothing to protect your dignity. Meanwhile, French women stroll by in Chanel, giving you the side-eye like, could this bread be any more basic?
The never-ending debate.
The French love a good argument, politics, philosophy, whether a baguette should be bien cuite or pas trop cuite. But as the subject of these debates, you just sit there helpless, while people bicker over your ideal level of crunch. Non, it should be darker.
Mais non, it's perfect like this.
Meanwhile, you're just trying to exist without being torn apart by opinionated gourmands.
The personal space invasion.
French people stand close. Like, I can smell what you ate for lunch last Tuesday close. And as a baguette, you are always in the middle of it. Whether it's a heated market negotiation or a passionate debate about municipal parking laws, you're wedged between gesticulating hands, at constant risk of being snapped like a twig in a tornado. The linguistic snobbery. The French take immense pride in their language, and even if they speak perfect English, they'll pretend not to understand you unless you at least try French first. But as a baguette, you are literally made of flour and water. You have no vocal cords. Yet still, you are judged. This baguette didn't even say merci when I bought it. How rude.
Conclusion, à baguette l'âme.
So there you have it, the tragic existence of the French baguette. You are loved, yes, but only as an object. A tool for cheese conveyance, a wine sponge, a fashion accessory, a victim of relentless small talk. You are born fresh, you are briefly admired, and then you are devoured without remorse. Such is life in France, beautiful, delicious, and utterly merciless to bread. Please subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any important cultural facts about countries and their characteristics.